welcome to the Zach Rundell YouTube channel. I really appreciate you tuning in. Okay, so for one, I do want to address. Okay, I'm not sure what I'm gonna name this video. I think maybe to my 150 videos or acknowledgements. Okay, and keep in mind with acknowledgements, because this video is not just a like wow, a celebration. Oh, we made it to I made it to 150 videos, okay? But it's also, I want to acknowledge some things, okay? About my YouTube channel, about how it has grown and kind of like where it's going within the future, or kind of the idea of the vision, okay? So on and so forth. So for one, before we start the acknowledgements, I want to say one thing. I hope you guys are, honestly, I'm a big outdoors man, and I hope you guys are outside, walking around, enjoying it, okay? Today, I actually came here for a run, okay? And because, you know, I love running, and I just love being athletic, okay? It's one of my, like, great qualities, okay? With all humility, okay? And today, all right, we are at Lackawanna State Park, okay? Lackawanna State Park is one of the hubs, trail hubs, and got some of the best trails in northeastern Pennsylvania, and it's really great. And if you've never been to northeastern Pennsylvania, I would recommend it. It's a hidden gem, and the trails here, they got some mixing built trails, and we are at one of my favorite places. All right, they got mixing built trails. We are at the Rollins Nature Preserve, okay? This preserve is brought by Countryside Conservancy, that's doing a lot of great positive impacts and really advocating for the outdoors in the northeastern Pennsylvania. And I really support them, and I really love what they're doing in the work, right? Because it's getting people more outside and giving more greater trails like this. I remember in one of my first videos when we went to Little Rocky Glen, I'm like, no, we gotta have more trails like this in the community so we can have more adventures. So we are here on a trail, and the cool thing about this is that the Countryside, I believe the Countryside Conservancy owns this property, and they've got so many preserves all around, and they have been doing wonders for the area. They really are. You know, the thing I like about the Countryside Conservancy is that they want trails in the community. They see an opportunity to make our society bigger and better. And why not? Let's make more trails. Let's build a bigger and better society. If we have more trails and more places like this, just imagine how much more fun this world would be. Just imagine how many more adventures that I can film, and that you guys could go on, that you guys could go along with me. I hope I didn't dance for the moment with this.
Where'd the beat go? Oh, ain't that something? Drums came in, you ain't see that coming. Hands on my head, can't tell me nothing. Got a taste of the fame, it upon my stomach. Throw it back up like I don't want it. Wipe my face, clean up my vomit. OCD trying to push my buttons. I said don't touch it, now y'all done it.
But I don't think it's really just for adventures, because hiking, running, biking is such a positive thing, and it gets people outside, and it gets people enjoying nature. Like, look at this is absolutely beautiful. And for me, I love the woods, I love the trees, love the creeks, and nature is such a beautiful thing to observe, and it is just such a wonderful thing, right? And I feel like within nature, there's just so much, I'm gonna say light, right? There's just so much light within nature, and it's an empowering force. But one of the things is we've really abused nature for our own greed and for our own things, and that's really, really sad, and I do not support that or advocate for that. So with that being said, let's start the acknowledgements. So let me just put my phone. Perfect. So acknowledgements. All right, here we go. So we're going to start off with the intros, okay? Actually, no, we're not going to start off with the intros. So for one, this is also, but from the acknowledgements, this is also to my 150 videos. We almost made it to 200. Woo! Which I absolutely love. Right? And it's like when I first started this YouTube channel, I wasn't sure what was going to happen. Okay, it was really a big, I would say it was kind of a big thing for me. All right, starting this YouTube channel, and I didn't know where it was gonna go, so on and so forth, and I wasn't sure if I was ever gonna make it to more than 150 videos, and here I am today, right? I love it. And one of the reasons why I put this out there, because I believed in myself, and I really found a hobby, I found a passion, and I just grew on it and built on it, and I really loved it, and I really loved sharing my world with all of you guys, and I really loved the positivity that I got from it, and I also loved sharing adventures and motivational stuff, and really, in many ways, I would say it was not to build myself up, but I really like it because it was, in many ways, it was really for all of you, right? No, don't get me wrong. It was for myself too. I really absolutely loved it. Okay. And yeah, and I really believed in myself, and I kept on making steps, and I've taken breaks from YouTube. Like I said in one of my other videos, that it was this was a hobby. You know what I mean? I'm not doing this to get a career on YouTube. I'm not doing this for this thing or the other. I'm doing it because I love doing it. I've got a passion for it, and it's a hobby. Ever since I was a kid. So I'm gonna do things my own way. I'm also gonna experiment with things as well. This YouTube channel is a hobby of mine, not my career. I like filming. So guys, I'm gonna be real with you here. I've been watching some YouTubers, and they've, I remember them saying about how, oh, I don't have the views I want to have. This channel's not growing as big as I wanted to. But I can understand if you're upset about it, if it's your career. But if it's not, and if it's a hobby and you still want those views, alright, that's fine. But I want to say, for me, it's not about the views. For me, it's just about doing something I like. Now, if you guys have fun with it, like I am right here, that's great. But if you guys don't, oh well. This is for me. Might be one video on this whole entire channel, and I might not make any more. I'm more of a dumb jock. Proud to be. So guys, a valuable lesson that I have learned is never sell yourself short, like I have done by calling myself a dumb jock. Because I'm not a dumb jock. In my opinion, I think I'm a very intelligent, smart young man. And you could take that one to the bank. With a nice young lady, intelligent, yes, she juggling Ari. Every women but me never left for a tally. They say that me stop me at the Ram Dance Man. Ram it in a dance, in a nation. You never know, say that me stop me at the Boom Shot. I never lay down flat and never can't go back. So you say that me leggy, I go reach in a hiccup. So the girl they come away and I'm in here. When it's a boom boom girl, una oficina cuando baila que todo el mundo la vea. I like your boom boom girl, con calma. You know say that me stop me, I go blame. I like your boom boom girl. Check them on this, they say that me stop me, stop a girl down the lane. I love your boom boom girl. That's what Mama said. Always had passions for it. I used to have a camcorder, and I used to make all these movies, and all of that stuff. In fact, actually, my first job and my dream job was to be a director, which was neat. And I think one of the reasons why is because my mind works in parables, my mind works in representations, so on and so forth. And and I'm living the dream.
Kill the rap game. Since you got it in my mind, rather lose away. Family, talk, or friends, you got since you was coming through.
Oh, by the way, so I've been uploading past films which I made like years ago with some past friends, okay? Let's see here. Out of Nowhere, Right Behind Me, You Can Run But You Can't Hide. And for the people who are watching this video right now, I want to tell you, okay, because a lot of people are going to like one got like over, I think 700 views, okay? Out of all my videos, You Can Run But You Can't Hide got over like 700 views, hey, which is great, right? I'm honestly privileged to have had that, but I think a lot of people click on the views and they realize, they watch it and they're like, oh, it's just any average horror film. But I kid you not, okay, or any like these social films I'm uploading, I kid you not, they are not any average horror films, all right? They are parables, okay, of things that happen to people in their lives and stuff, and so on and so forth. And a lot of these horror films is like, do not reflect the same mistake as the main character, okay? And an important thing, you will not get this parable. I promise you, when you watch these videos, you will not get these parables, okay? That's why it's so important to read the description. Read the description to know what these parables are about, alright? Because a lot of people will not get the lesson, they will not get the moral lesson, they will not get the value out of it, so on and so forth, okay? So now, acknowledgement time, but from that. So acknowledgement time. So my intro, so I want to really go off of my intros here. So my first intro, it was a rap song by this famous rapper. By the way, I don't condone the rapper, don't support him, I don't accept what he does, don't really like it. And I had a buddy with me working on this intro, and he was the one who thought of the song and stuff. But it was
I might chance a K, hold the perk up in my bay. Go, run up on me wrong, turn his head into a bay. Go, on the opposition block, just like a lay. Go, on cheap, homie, so you know that I got serious. If you saw that I cheat, bitch, you know that I rock it to make my pocket a bit. Decent, I guess on the top of these bullets, don't knock the knowledge out his nine. Shout out to Bullies, you know I'm a G. Green my case, I ain't cover no please. You said you were gangster, you said you was stepper, but you cooperated with police.
Shot of flow and stuff, and it was a rap song. And at that time, keep in mind, it was the age, it was the mindset. I was just trying to be like, I was trying to do what was cool, which honestly, I'm gonna say is a very it can be a very dangerous thing when you try to do what's cool, because of the because you're trying to be like everyone else. You're kind of trying to be like a clone like everyone else, and you're trying to find your worth and self-value in that. And I would say, be unique, stand out, okay? And that's one of the things with the intro, is that I don't regret doing it, but it's like I would actually try to stray away from that. Like that idea of making that song, all right, a part of the intro, all right? I would have made it more unique and more positive and stuff, because Shot of Flow it's a rap song, and person who made it, alright, I don't even want to say his name, but the person who made it, I don't really support it or condone it, but it doesn't mean it can't be on this YouTube channel, alright? And I honestly think I honestly think it's a dark song, but the point is, okay, I made that intro and it was face. It was Zach, okay? And then there was another intro where we started off with violence, alright? It was the violence from Show Me the Money. And it was just the adventures of Zach Randella, okay? Kind of exploring. One of the things I do like about it, the idea of the adventure and the vlog part of this channel, is because I'm showing you guys unique places or places where you can explore, so on and so forth. And it might encourage you to be like, oh my gosh, I want to do something like that, or like I want to go out there and explore my world, okay? You know, I've lived in northeastern Pennsylvania really my whole life. I've been all over the place, okay, all over the country, all over the world, but it's like one of the things, and I was telling my mom this the other day, that you know, I've grown up here, but there's new adventures all around the corner, right? I may live in the same mountains. I may live in the same landscapes. I may live in the same city, the same town, right? Same roads, bike on the same roads, but there's new adventures all around the corner. And I absolutely really love that, all right? And yeah, that's one of the things one of the good things about the Adventure YouTube channel, a part of the Adventure YouTube channel, because it can encourage you all to like, oh my gosh, there's new adventures all around the corner. And I don't think a lot of people realize that or think about it and are really even or really grateful for it. And it's so important to be grateful for what you have, and also the adventures and where you live, where you come from, and what you know, right? A lot of our experiences really build us in our lives. And this YouTube channel really has built in my life, and this YouTube channel really has helped me to be a very, very confident person in myself, because honestly, I'm just gonna be honest, I'm camera shy. I'm really, really camera shy, okay? Yeah, I'm just camera shy and stuff, and I honestly, I'm a showman, okay? Hence all the hand movement, okay? I'm a showman, okay? I'm a showman. Alright, that's one of my personalities. Alright, I can get up there on the stage and rock a crowd, man. Which reminds me, Marilyn, thank you for all the support, but remember, I'm not Mickle. I'm Pickle. Alright, if we're talking about we taking over, man, we taking over, bro. We taking over, man.
So keep it moving right along, young fella. Don't get mad, cause Bros got girls showing him much air. They can't tell them why we gon' excel. Cause we taking over. Said we taking over.
Like man, even in my bike races, not to brag, it's like I remember leading some of them and people are cheering. I'm like, yeah. Let's go! Cheer this place on, right? And man, I kid you not, people love that, man. They all they love that type of my personality in that way. Alright, you really see that in the music videos, and you really see that in my videos. And yeah, I really feel that they're great, man. I have a lot of fun with it. Okay, so we had that intro, and we had another intro. Okay, I forgot the name, but it was a real powerful intro, and I really liked that intro. There was some rap in it, and I'm a person who likes the melody and stuff. I don't like the lyrics, but I like the melody and stuff, and this melody was powerful, and I liked the intro because it was like this person is a force to be reckoned with, okay? Watch out, watch out, watch out, I don't want to say you demons, but watch out, my demons.
Take it like a klepto. Anybody wanna get it, come correcto. Talk behind my back, but when they see me, it's respecto. Still got the crown, so I never give a F though. Everything is wavy, I'ma hit it with the brushstroke. Get out the window, with another window.
Ain't about the mob, brush the dirt up off me. I'm a flex, yes, I'm the best, I'm the veteran. In the next, yes, give the gat to my necklace. In his head, neck, get a chest, he gon' catch a fish. Hell yeah, I'm the fucking champ, I can't feel like this. Money bad, but I'm million bad. I don't have a trick, I done tricks. When the light chicks, coming by the glitch. With the rollers, coming out on tape. More grip, when the dough flip, give me no dick. Whole fist, break his whole shit. Tell her no, bad chick fit. I'm a wild chick, watch it catch a finger.
This guy's not playing around, and for that time in my life, I was really overcoming a lot of odds, and I really was fighting a battle that a lot of people didn't believe I would win, and I won. And that was really the representation of that, like overcoming, all right? Overcoming, forced to be reckoned with, all right? Alright, and being a dangerous person, alright? Oh, watch out! Zach Grandel's coming! We don't know what this guy's gonna do. We don't know what he's gonna do with his double shots. Boom, 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 right? And now, the other intro, and I believe this was one of the most recent intros, so it was last year's intro, alright? And it was, they wanted us down, but they did not believe. But God did! God did! Oh, yes, He did. I love that intro. I love the music I used for that, and I really like that because I used title cards of what I really wanted to really project on this YouTube channel. Alright, and I really loved how it portrayed this confidence stuff, so on and so forth. And it says this is where we I love it. Like first few lines was this is where we celebrate. I like that, but actually it was meant to be celebrate. This is where we celebrate, okay? This is where we unite. This is where we overcome, right? This is where we love life and not hate it.
But look at us now. They counted us out. They didn't think that we would make it up. They didn't believe in us. Oh, but I know
I'm Zach Rundell, and today we're going to be riding at Aknowlegements State Park. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope it gives you a bit of encouragement throughout the day. See you guys out there. Let's get it! Ah! Okay, and that's what I really want to bring out to the world and through my YouTube channel is that right there, right? This is where we love life. This is not where we hate it, right? And I really want to spread that positivity because at that time that was really represented to me of where there was a lot of like people really did me evil last year at this time. A lot of evil, okay? But I really didn't let that define me and stuff, and they wanted me to hate my life. They wanted me down. They wanted me to be destroyed. But I decided to say no. I'm gonna love my life. I'm gonna love where I'm at. Alright? And I'm not gonna hate it. Alright? And that's another representation when, you know, the lyrics say in the song, they wanted us down, but they did not believe, but God did, oh yes he did. So that represents when God did, I'm not saying this divine force, okay? I don't want to go into that here. Alright, but that represents a great power, great belief in yourself, great love for yourself, great love for the world around you, okay? Right? And if you do believe in a divine force, great love for the divine force, okay? Or for the idea, okay? I don't really want to go much into it, alright? So on and so forth, right? So that really represented great belief and great power, right? Right, and I really see that great belief and that great power in myself, right? And yeah, those people, like last year, they wanted me down. They wanted me destroyed, right? But they did not believe. But I believed. I did, right? And yeah, and I believed, you know what I mean? And because of their evil doings on me, okay? Because of them, I'm going to say backstabbing. Because of their backstabbing, I used that to compel myself further in my life and really build upon my life. And if it wasn't for, I'm going to say, that hidden encouragement, all right, I wouldn't be where or who I am in my life. And honestly, I would want to say to these people, if I can see them face to face, all right, thank you. Because the evil you did to destroy me, I used to just build myself and build my life and build the life of my dreams, right? And that's another thing with this YouTube channel, right? Right here, I'm like building the life of my dreams. I'm sharing dreams. I'm sharing like this stuff with you all, which I absolutely loved. And yeah, that was one of the things with this intro, with that intro, you know what I mean? And I really loved spreading the love, right? And a lot of that I really liked because it really was spreading the love. Because the last intros we had, a lot of it you saw was about me, but this one was a little different, okay? And now we're talking about the most previous intro, and I believe you just saw it. Welcome to the Zach Rundell YouTube channel. I try to make a positive impact with these videos. Be a part of the light and not the darkness. And it's black with title cards. Black. And by the way, that's my favorite intro so far. along with God did, but this is number one, all right? Because one of the things I love about it, you don't see my face at all right? You see those words, okay? And one of the things I really believe that's discredited in our world is our influence, okay? With my YouTube channel, no matter what anyone says, no matter what anyone thinks, I've got influence with this YouTube channel, all right? You have influence in your life. You have influence in your world. You have influence all around you, okay? Influence that contributes to the world system, out of the world system, okay? Like, anywhere you go, what you do, you influence. You make an impact, okay? It could be a positive impact. It could be a bad impact. It could be right in the middle. Whatever. You make an impact, okay? Not a lot of people are aware. Not a lot of people acknowledge that they can make an impact, okay? And one of the things is not a lot of people, okay? And I'm actually going to get to this point, is that a lot of people really try and make impacts in silly things, all right? And I'm going to say silly things because of their human nature. Their human nature brings them down a path for those silly things, okay? And I'm not going to really, I guess, go upon the silly things, but I'm going to say silly things. A lot of people are worried about silly things, so on and so forth, okay? And the thing with this intro, I really love the recent intro. Excuse me. One of the things about this intro I love, the recent one, is because it says, be a part of the light, okay? I believe that there's light and darkness with humanity, okay? All right. And I'm going to say, I would say the first So a lot of people do not acknowledge they have a dark side. Not a lot of people acknowledge human nature has a dark side to it. All right, not a lot of people think about it, so on and so forth, and how they contribute to the darkness among the earth, okay? And I'm gonna say this, okay, loud and clear, okay? Keep in mind, this video is really about you all watching it, all right? Me expressing my thoughts, me talking about this, but it's about you developing your opinions. It's about you developing your thoughts. Take what I say, right? And you could be like, disagree, all right? You can push back. You could comment on this video. I don't care. It won't matter to me. Excuse me again. But yeah, it won't matter to me, okay? And now the thing with the earth, okay? It's a great green planet. And blue, okay? And you can see it from miles away from the universe, okay? But it is also one of the most darkest places in the universe. And I'm not talking about daylight. I'm not talking about night, okay? Those can be symbols, right? But a lot of darkness happens within the day, happens within the idea of the light, right? And not a lot of people acknowledge that, okay? Not a lot of people acknowledge there's a light side, you know what I mean? And there's also a dark side. All right. And one of the things with this is human nature is, I would say, it's originally dark, right? All right, and I'm gonna say, okay, and a lot of people are gonna be like, huh? Right, and I'm going to say kind of the reason why is because look at what humans are doing, okay? One of the prime examples I brought up at the beginning of the YouTube channel video, and it connects perfectly, it's the outdoors, okay? Such a beautiful thing. So good, right? But who's industrializing it? Who's destroying it? Who's making it a wasteful lands like Isengard and and Sauron's fortress. Humans, right? Right? Domination, right? Right? We look at land, we look at animals to dominate them, right? Alright, and there's also other things too, right? With human nature, being selfish, greedy, okay? In it for yourself, right? Right? Going for money. Money is the way, right? Money is the truth of life, okay? That's all you want, right? Alright, like even with young men, okay? Lifting is their god, right? Lifting is the thing that fulfills them. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with lifting, but when it becomes idolization, that's something entirely, okay? And also I'm gonna say what these rap songs are promoting, okay? Big butts, alright? Alright, and how they're objectifying women, or how they're objectifying themselves, okay? And the idea of that this is what true power is. You know, these rap songs, a lot of these rap songs, I remember hearing about these rap songs and kind of how they developed, okay? So there was this one time where these rap songs, okay, were like, oh, kind of about this world and stuff, all about this stuff, right? Then it localizes it to I have this much money, I've got all these chicks, right? I got all these chains, all right? Kind of like how Pop Smoke said it in one of these songs, okay? Right? I rock these chains, right? Bad, BITHS. I got those. And I really hate that. And I really feel like humans are abusing their powers, but they are also in a way warped, right? They are in many ways blind to the darkness, right? They kind of have coverings over their eyes, so they don't acknowledge it. They don't see it. And the other thing I'm going to mention with this darkness is not a lot of people acknowledge the darkness within themselves, or the wrongdoings they can do in themselves. They do not acknowledge it. And when you do not acknowledge it, you lie and you deceive yourselves, and you become even more blind to the darkness, so on and so forth, right? And that's a very, very dangerous notion right there. Very, very dangerous notion. But when people do acknowledge and see the darkness and realize the darkness, they become afraid of the darkness, and they try to avoid the darkness at all costs. And that, in fact, can actually bring them to a path where they can go more into the darkness. All right, I'm going to bring this point up, and I believe it's the good time to bring it up, okay? So, you know how people say, hey, I believe in being a good person, right? Okay, I definitely see what you're saying. There's good people out there, right? But when you say that, when I hear that, I feel like people are being like, oh, I trusted my works to make me a good person, right? And with that being said, okay, the darkness of humanity, all right, the darkness can make something look good, something appealing, right? But it's very destructive. Prime example, okay? Alcohol. And actually, I'm not going to show you what's in this bottle. Alright, but I'm going to use that symbolization. Alcohol, drugs, right? Why do you think so many people are drug addicts? Why do you think so many people are alcoholics? Because it looks good. It looks good, so they run to it, right? So if it feels good, it must be good, right? Your emotions can manipulate you. Your mind can manipulate you in these types of ways. And not a lot of people are self-aware. Not a lot of people acknowledge it and acknowledge that, right? And not a lot of people acknowledge what can be really degrading for themselves. So they continue within that dark path, right? They continue with that over and over and over and over, right? And I'm going to go back with influence, okay? So when people don't acknowledge the darkness of humanity, all right, or they don't seek the light, okay? For example, I'm going to put an example, okay? When these rappers are talking about, oh, I got all these drugs, I'm smoking all of this, right? I got these guns, ba, 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 right? I got these girls, right? All these stuff, right? I'm gonna put out some examples, okay? And they think they're exempt from the law, okay? From the law. Offset, Cardi B, Nicki Minaj, Drake, alright? Megan Thee Stallion, alright? Dua Lipa, alright? Lil Baby, okay? DJ Khaled, okay? Alright, those are some examples, okay, of their influence. And when people see these things, especially young people, like kids, okay, they're trying to be cool, and they're like, oh my gosh, this is amazing, this is great, this is how I can be powerful, this is how I can rule my life, this is what's gonna get me in my life, you know what I mean? You're like, yeah, so on and so forth. And like I said, that's dangerous, okay? Especially when they have a lot of influence, right? And that's one of the things I realized with this YouTube channel. I have influence. I can make a negative impact or a positive impact. And I want to make a positive impact. I want to contribute to the light. That's what I'm all about on this YouTube channel. And that's really where I want to bring it to, and towards the kind of like within the future. You know what I mean, right? You can look back on my YouTube channel and see all these things, all right? And some of the things I look back on, I don't condone. I don't really agree with, and I don't like how some of it is on this YouTube channel.
Now baby, don't you stop it, stop it. Now baby, don't you stop it, stop it. Now baby, don't you stop it, stop it, stop it, stop it. You cannot stop the time. I ain't gonna stop until I don't stop it.
But keep in mind that I believe it's really not about avoiding the darkness, but it's about being light within the darkness, right? And that's a very important thing, okay? And now back to human nature is when people don't acknowledge it, okay? And I'm gonna now go to this point, okay? And I love this one so much. I don't know if you've ever read Lord of the Flies or ever seen the movie, okay? I've never seen the black and white version. I've always seen the color version and stuff. And Lord of the Flies is so great on human analogy. I absolutely love it. It's one of the greatest books on human analogy. And if you don't know what Lord of the Flies is, I'm going to tell you what Lord of the Flies is, okay? So, brief summary, all right? And I'm going to kind of pick apart as I go on. So these kids, I believe from England, they're flying on a plane, and they're flying because of a nuclear war. Keep in mind, when it says nuclear war, they're already talking about humanity. They're already talking... Man, I just realized something. Oh, my gosh. So, that is going to... I'm going to give you a hint, okay? And spoilers alert for the book, okay? Is that's a foreshadow of what's going to happen in the film. That is a foreshadow. With nuclear war, humans are causing it, right? And these kids are flying on a plane. All I'm saying, right? All I'm saying, people are destroying all the people, okay? Think about it, all right? Now, they're flying on the plane. Yep, they're flying on the plane. And the plane, something happens, and they crash on this deserted island, okay? Grown-ups are there. But all the grown-ups died in the plane. But only only like, I don't even know how many, but I'm gonna say this would help you guys out. 25 to maybe 20. All right, 20 kids that range from the age to 5 to 12, okay? And this one kid named, I'm not sure if it's Jack, but, I think Jack's the, I'm gonna say, Dan? I don't know, I'm gonna say, I don't even want to say leader. I'm going to say jerk. I'm going to say leader. All right? Yeah, I'm going to say leader, okay? And Jack is really good too. So the leader, okay? He's elected leader, okay, by the way. But he's not leader right now, okay? So he finds this conch shell, okay? He finds the conch shell and he's blowing it, and all the kids come and there's like, they're all like having a meeting and stuff. And a religious group of kids came out of the woods and they're chanting something, I don't know. And who's leading that group, his name's Jack, okay? And Jack comes and stuff, and they all elect for the leader, all right? And I'm not going to call him leader. Oh, the example. I'm going to call him the example, okay? The person who I said the leader, the example, all right? Or the influence. No, the example. I'm going to call him the example. The example, that's an, the example, not even the example, the main character. I'm going to call him the main character. The main character, along with his friend, this is his nickname, degraded nickname, Piggy, okay? So, the main character and Jack, the main character was elected leader because he was the oldest, okay? And Jack wasn't too happy about that, all right? And what happened... And now what happens is Jack's, okay, civilizing all the kids, and they're like, okay, let's build shelter, let's find water, let's do all of this stuff, so on and so forth, right? And they designated Jack as the hunting, the leader of the hunt party and stuff, and so on and so forth. And one of the things as the story progresses, we see these kids, okay, especially the younger ones, they're developing a fear, okay, of the idea of that there's some creature there's some creature on this island. We don't know what the creature is. We have no idea what the creature is. All right, and some people are like, is it a snake, or is it like a giant snake, or is it something that's invisible, so on and so forth, right? The idea of a monster started to develop in their head, okay, and they started to feel fear for it, okay? All right, and there was one night where there was planes are shooting at each other. There was a war in the sky of these planes, okay? And a parachuter guy goes down on the island, and he's gets trapped. And one of the kids saw that, so they run, okay? And he's like, oh. And the kid's like, he's a monster, he's a monster. And he runs and he tells everyone, there's a monster, I saw a monster and stuff.
Did you hear that, man?
all the kids really are like, oh my gosh, right? Fear is controlling them right now, right? Keep in mind, our human minds, our human emotions can manipulate us, okay? Another thing to acknowledge with the darkness of humanity and the light of humanity, okay? But from that,
we can't have kids stealing and just running wild. We're gonna have to have stricter rules. And hand out demerits, I guess.
Demerits? Demerits for grand larceny?
Eat shit and die!
Going home? Of course we are. As soon as they see our signal. Jack says that we're never going to be rescued. No, you misunderstood him. That's not what he meant.
That's exactly what I meant. There's 8 million islands out here. Why should they find this one?
Don't listen to him. We will be rescued, Peter. Honest.
he's like, oh, I'm afraid. I'm really, really afraid.
You mean no one's on fire watch? Why can't we have the fire down here, by the camp? Because if we want anybody to see the smoke, it's gotta be up there. Well, nobody wants to be up there alone anymore. Listen now, there's something loose on this island. A monster. There's no monster. There's something.
That's right when I saw the creature.
What is it?
You didn't see that?
I didn't.
The lights. You turn it off. The lights. You turn it off.
Alright, and everyone's like, we gotta get ready, we gotta fight, okay? So on and so forth. In fact, they cut off a boar's head, and this is a present for the monster, okay?
This is a present for the monster.
And we are starting to see a division now, okay? We're starting to see Jack and the main character go head to head, okay?
Back off, man! I'm sick of your shit, and so's my gang. Your gang? What's that supposed to mean? What it means, Colonel, is that if you know what's good for you, you'll stop trying to run everything. Stop it!
And Jack's like, alright, I'm gonna start a new tribe, a tribe to defend from the monster, okay, because the main character opposes this idea. He's like, there is no monster. Like, you guys are letting your emotions, you're letting your mind slip away here. Alright, and Jack, they're starting to get war paint, all of that. They're really going for it, okay? Alright, yeah, they're really going for it. And Jack has so much influence among the young ones, among the middle-aged ones. He's got influence, okay? And he's using the influence, okay?
I'm with you, Jack. Right on, Larry. When you other brats get older, get hungry enough, you can come join up too.
For all of these things, so on and so forth, right? And we really see this guy rival Jack, and we see him basically shoot Jack down, and he brings a whole new tribe to a secluded place, okay? To a secluded place of the island named Castle Rock, okay? And I want to say this right now, the conch shell, okay? When they blew that conch shell, so on and so forth, when the main character was holding it, they had a rule, okay? For the group, okay? The person who speaks has the conch shell. So, if you want to speak, you gotta have the conch shell. Alright? And that represents, okay, in the story, civilization. That represents being civilized, so on and so forth. But we see that these people who came from the main character being civil, right? He wanted to bring order to the island. He wanted to, like, give out rules. Okay, this is what we do not do. This is what we do. He gave out guidelines. You know what I mean? But we see that Jack, because of fear and the manipulation of fear and the influence he had within the world he was in, he manipulated the kids, and he became the central power move figure. And he divided the own tribe. And I didn't mention this. Guess who's the chief? Guess who's the leader of that tribe? Jack. He's the leader now, and they're all going hunting. And he was the one who cut the pig's head off and put it on the spike for the idea of this monster. Okay, and the tribes are divided. Okay, and just imagine, okay, this guy's probably 11 years old. Just imagine what happens when this goes to head, okay? So, to the head, all right? All right, and what kids are like, okay? All right, the main character represents following the rules, laws, okay? Good laws, right, for us, right? Humans, I'm going to say it. In our world, we need laws, right? We have laws for a reason, right? Laws are an extremely important thing that's so overlooked in our world. All right, but I'm going to get to something about the darkness of humanity and something that's natural to humanity, okay? All right, so with that being said, so now let's see, okay, what Jack does, okay? Let's see how he's leading this tribe, and let's see where his mindset is with the main character. So here's a few clips from the color version. All right, let's go.
Your point. What do you want? We killed a pig today. There's going to be a feast. You can all come eat with us if you want to. Go on. Now. The chief has spoken. See you tonight, girls. Yeah!
So I hope you guys thought about this clips, okay? So the first clip I believe we saw was when Jack was just coming up from the trees. Jack was coming up on the log, and the other camp, okay, was the shelter and stuff where our main character is. They attacked it, okay? And the reason they attacked it is because they wanted a knife. The main character didn't want to give them the knife, but they gave him, but they wanted to steal the knife, right? They didn't think of the other tribe, right? On how that can benefit them. They only thought on how it can benefit them and what can bring them up, right? Right? And now we see on the other clip, okay, when Jack comes, he's running, okay, he's like, being like, yeah, okay, he made his noise, okay, he made his, like, alright, kind of like, the power, I've got the power, right, I've got this, right, I am this, okay, alright, and we see that he's like, okay, there's going to be a feast tonight, okay, you all can come and join. Think about the motive. The reason why he's doing that, okay? Why is he doing that? Why does he want to bring the main character, Piggy, to the feast and the other kids along that tribe? What's the reason? Alright? And now we see him, alright, be like, hey, everyone, you know, two kids right next to him, he's like, hey, go for it. The chief has spoken. Alright, the chief has spoken. That right there is, we really saw what power did when it went to his head. And, we saw what power did when it went to his head. And we saw how he's using these people, okay? Influencing these people, okay? As he's the leader, as he can keep them safe, right? And we see these people, okay? We see these people from the different side. They're got war paint, right? And now we'll go to another point of the story, okay? All right, so now watch this clip.
Luke, take them some meat. I promised I'd get meat. Didn't I, Ralph? I want you to tell the little ones that I made you a promise and I kept it. Say it!
You kept your promise, but you don't keep the fire watch. You think one lousy meal is worth not getting rescued? We've got to be one group again.
I agree. You can join my camp and have all the meat you want.
We don't want your meat. Oh, yeah. Then why'd you come here?
We came here to try and talk some sense to you.
You don't have the conch. Doesn't matter what you say.
The conch is in our camp where it belongs.
What's the matter, Tits? Were you afraid to bring it with you? Anyway, the conch doesn't count anymore, Miss Piggy Tits.
Stop that!
Nobody's interested in you or your fucking conch. Why don't you take your fat friend and shove off? You've had all the meat you can eat. Come on, hunters! Roger's the pig!
So, now for that clip, when we see our main character along Peggy, okay, Jack's like, okay, hey, I've got you guys food. I made a promise, okay, so on and so forth, right? And we see here that our main character and Peggy opposes Jack, and they're like, no, we gotta be one tribe again, okay? And our main character is being very civil, right? He's like, we gotta be united. If we unite, we will rise, but if we divide, we will fall, right? And we already saw that majority of the tribe has already fallen. We see Peggy and our main character. Those are the two who are opposing this society point of view. They're opposing it and being like, hey, this is what we gotta do. We gotta have laws. We gotta have rules. But what does Jack do? He uses influence and be like, all right, I'll show them. And he's like, come on, hunters! Robin's the pig! All right, and what does he do? Everyone goes ballistic, okay? And we see this animal-like nature, right? We see this crave for lawlessness. It became a society of lawlessness, right? A society for all these kids out for their own greed, right? And who's leading them, right? Jack is. And what is Jack doing, okay? He's abusing his power. He's abusing his influence, right? Right? He's building himself up, right? And he's supporting this idea of lawlessness, okay? And I'm going to mention this now with the dark side of humanity. We are natural rule breakers, all right? And this is a prime example within young people, okay? What do, in kindergarten, what's one of the first things kids do? They break the rules. They break the rules, and they seek ways to break the rules. They don't want to break rules. Why? Because they have a craving from their human nature. They do not know how to deny that human nature. They don't know how to acknowledge it yet. I don't think they have guidance to at that time, right? And they're never taught, right? So they stay within that darkness. They stay within the blindness, okay? And now we see, and as they grow, they depart from more of the civilization, but they go for more materialistic things. They go for all of this stuff. So I'm going to put an example out in my life of what I've observed and what I've noticed. I've observed human nature ever since I was a kid, right? Because of my experience and how I was born and how my experience have shaped me, which I'm eternally grateful for. So when I was in high school, I went to one of the premier school districts named Abington Heights, and their culture, and this is a sad fact, okay? Their culture was tailored to what people would say the so-called cool kids. I'm going to say cool kids. They were tailored for the cool kids, right? They were tailored for the popular kids. But if we see the popular kids, and man, the popular kids and the cool kids had so much influence there among the teachers, among the principals, right? But they were the meanest people. They were some of the meanest people I've ever met. And they were not good. They were really, a lot of them were out for themselves. A lot of them were about putting others down, rising themselves up, right? And they supported lawless acts. I'm going to give you an example. So one of my school dances, and this is, I love this example, okay? So one of my school dances, okay, is that it was, I believe it was semi and stuff, and so our school dances happen in the gym, and for wrestling, they usually have a light and stuff for the mat. And for this school dance, they had a light shining down on the dance floor. And people and everyone went in there, and they all sat down and said, turn the light off, turn the light off. But guess who was standing? I'm not trying to brag, but I'm going to an extent. I don't know how you call it, but guess who was standing? Guess who was standing for what he believed in? Guess who was saying, no, let's not do this? I was. And I was the only one standing. Everyone followed the majority. Everyone followed the crowd. Everyone went where the supposedly power is number idea. And everyone was supporting this act. And I'm going to get to this act soon, okay? And I'm standing there being like, no. And one of the girls I knew, okay, she's like, Zach, come sit down. Like, support this. And I'm like, no, I don't support this. I don't agree with it. I may stand alone. And I may stand alone when all of you do something I don't agree with. I'm going to stand alone for what I believe in. And I'm going to tell you the truth. That is true power right there. If you could stand alone for what you believe in, and if you stand alone for what you believe is right, and what is right, and what is good. And that's what I did, right? I did. But who came up with me? No one came up with me. No one acknowledged what I was saying. No one. And that's another thing. When you bring up the light or the idea of the darkness to people, all right, not a lot of people are going to understand this, but when you're talking to them, it's like a foreign language. I've seen it so many times. It's happened to me so many times. People look at you like, and man, I kid you not, like, I've had so many reactions like that, man, and I don't really care. Like, I want to spread the light. I want to spread the love. I don't want the darkness, all right? I want to spread this. And honestly, I would love to have pictures of these people's faces because they're priceless, man. They are literally priceless. And honestly, and when you speak to them, it's a foreign language, and one of the reasons why I think it's such a foreign language is because their mindset just can't comprehend what you're saying. They don't have the mindset, and it's also their unbelief too. Unbelief separates, okay? Unbelief is a killer of all. All right, something to remember. And the point is, so they're like, turn the light off, okay? And so what happened is, as a group, they decided to go. I'm the one standing, okay, by myself, observing what's going on. And I'm seeing, okay, the cool, popular kids. They're like, this way, okay, out of the light. They wanted to go into the darkness. They traded the light for the darkness. And what they were doing in the darkness, what they did at all the school dances, was grinding. And when I'm saying grinding, you know what I mean. Sex with clothes on. And when I say it, I don't know what your experience was with this, but girls were bending over like this, and it was an orgy, okay? And people were touching all the private areas. Men's shirt was on. I kid you not. I remember seeing this my first homecoming dance. By the way, I never partook in that. Okay, so I never partook in it, but point is, I see these people and this guy with his shirt off, and he's swinging it around with his vape in his mouth. I'm a real cowboy. All right, and they're really abusing sex in a very, very dark way. All right, and it's yeah, so yeah, they're grinding, okay? All the cool kids are leading them. They're influencing them to this path, okay? And the majority is falling. It's kind of like ape will follow the strongest ape, okay? They're all going for it, okay, man? All right. And when I see, and they're at this like side, okay? They're not in the middle, because that's usually what happens. They're all in the middle, but this time was the side. And the thing with grinding, another thing I'm going to point out with is, boy was going from one girl to the next. Girls from going one boy to the next, okay? People are grinding on people they don't even know. Disgusting. I'm just going to say, very, very disgusting. And it's very sad. And it's like, it's real tough because you like watching everyone and stuff, and people are just doing it to be a part of that status, to be a part of that, and they're looking around to see if everyone's looking around and think I was not a part of that. Okay, now point being, is that they're grinding, and they didn't like that. So guess what? They went within the light. So I'm saying that, so light can be a thing, but darkness can. You can shine light onto darkness, but darkness will not receive the light. Something to think about. Darkness, you can shine light on darkness, but it may not receive the light. So all of these people are grinding, all right, in the light, all right, and you can see it full on, man, all right, and after the school dances, I really wanted to put Clorox in my eyes. And yeah, point is, they're all dancing all around, so on and so forth. And I also noticed the popular cool kids, okay? People who honestly bullied me for how my mind works and being different were going up there, and they were like going up to the DJ, grabbing the mic, turn the lights off, okay? And guess what? I'm seeing all these cool, popular kids going to the principals and talking to them and being like, hey, this is not good, this is not bad, so on and so forth. And after a while, I didn't think the principals are going to break. I think they were going to stand their ground. But the head principal, I'm not going to say his last name, but his name was Andrew, okay? Andrew was one of the most cowardly men I have ever met. I met a lot of cowards in my time, but Andrew was one of the most cowardly men in that moment. Because he went there, music was off, he said microphone, he's talking about this, and he's like, yeah, we're going to turn the lights off. Guess what? He turned the lights off. And by doing that, he supported, I'm going to say, the idea and representation of a lawless act, okay, and the darkness of humanity, and people denied the light, they traded the truth for a lie, and the light was off, and they were in utter darkness. Just saying, some things to think about. They were in utter darkness. All right, and Andrew, the principal, head principal, by the way, he looked like a big guy, man. He looked like a big guy. He looked like a military man, had the haircut, all right, way different than this. Had the haircut, and he looked like a leader. Man, he was not a leader. He was not a leader. Human eyes can deceive you, man. All right, that's another thing to think about. Human eyes can deceive you, and when you look at Snyder, the first thought you would have in mind, this guy is a leader. This guy is definitely a leader. But man, he is not a leader. He was not a leader, and he had the most influence. And honestly, one of the sad remarks is how did high school dances come to this? And how is it being condoned and accepted? And it makes me real mad. Because I think in the 80s and the 90s, no grinding was permitted. What has happened? High school dances were so rich, and now it's so poor. All right. And it all just became sex with clothes on, an orgy. But people love it, right? But keep in mind, eyes deceive, the darkness can deceive, human nature can deceive, right? Especially when you're being influenced, okay? And another thing I'm going to remark on Andrew is that I was the class of 2019, and he wrote us a letter, and that happened that year. Guess what? He was like, writing the letter, you guys, I really liked how you guys fought for that. You guys thought you guys were fighting for what you were right? And you bring that same attitude out there in the world. And he's like now supporting this, and he's condoning that fight, right? In a way, I did like how he's like, oh, you thought you were guys fighting for what was right, but he still was condoning it. nonetheless. And the thing with the Abington culture is a lot of the Abington culture is surrounded by status, okay? Who's richer, who's greater, all these things, right? And the high school is tailored to the cool kids, right? I remember they got all the rewards. They were the premier faces of the students. The principals, Andrew, favored those kids, right? Leanne, I'm not gonna say her last name. Leanne favored those students. There was a person, I forgot his name. It might have been Mark, but it was the sophomore principal at the time. He was a real great principal. If we're talking about a good leader, he was, I would say, a good leader, and he really was there for the student body, which was real nice. But the point being is that they condoned this, right? And that's another thing to acknowledge about the world around us. The darkness is accepted. It's condoned, right? And people who bring out the idea of that there is a darkness out there, people really are like, no, that is awful. No, right? People don't like hearing the idea of the darkness. That's what keeps people blind. That's what keeps more people blind. All right. And I encourage you, stand up. All right. Stand up and say things. Excuse me. And don't let your belief change, but grow in your belief. It's going to hurt. Don't get me wrong. People are going to come against you, but stand firm in your belief and you will grow. I promise you. All right. So now, as I was saying, okay. Excuse me. Yeah, so, and you know, one of the sad things is that they condoned the grinding, but they did not say, like, one of the things, I know I was talking to my mom about this, and she's on the same page with me with the grinding. She didn't like it, and she's like, if I was in their shoes, I would be sending letters to the parents, okay? Alright, if there's any grinding, we're shutting the dance floor down. We're shutting the school dance. But I think a lot of the principals didn't do that because they were scared of the reaction. They were scared of what people thought. They were scared of what the parents thought. And they were scared of the community, right? So they had to live up to this expectation. And that was, I'm going to say, was the downfall. That was the downfall. And the person who was the freshman principal at the time is now the head, Leanne. Oh my gosh, I feel bad for that school now. I really feel bad for that school because she was another person who was really trying to be a part of the cool kid crowd. All right, and yeah, and I'm sure that school has not leveled up, but it went notches down. All right. So I believe I really made my point with that, okay? With the influence, right? Oh yeah, the cool kids, right? With getting rewards and all that, the face of the school. Just imagine if one of the kids who was quiet, who just didn't say much, who was in the background, got that reward. You know what I mean? And also, just imagine even if, like, the special ed, people in Abington did not expect people who are different. My mind, I'm just going to say, I got a lot of bullying, but it made me stronger, and I in many ways really don't condone what they did, but I don't even want to say thanks, but I used that to grow me, and I used that to improve me, and made me have a thick skin. I'm Dr. Water. Okay, so point is that, yeah, just imagine if one of the special ed kids got that, right? And Abington's philosophy was just to have them in there and get them out, which is real sad and stuff. Which is real sad. And yeah, so, and one of the other things is with these cool kids, these popular guys, right? It's a very, very tight group. Can't really get into that. And they are up at this level, okay? But keep in mind, they don't go down and bring other people up to their level. They don't do that, okay? And for one, keep in mind, I really see that as the darkness of humanity, but also it's a survival technique, right? If you try to bring a outcast in, or a low person in, which considerably low, you would be outcasted. You would be like, oh, you're one of them. You don't belong with us. And they're all afraid, and fear is controlling them, right? Fear was controlling them, so on and so forth. To do something that can be very impactful and positive to a person around them, but they wanted to put themselves up. And when there's people in a group do that, that's all they do. All they think about, status. And that's what they live around. And we see that in college, right? We see that in freshman parties. Okay. And we see that, and I want to say something, okay? And it's going to be with a cool kid popular idea, okay, with being on top of the pyramid, okay? And this is a foreign idea, and not a lot of people are going to understand this. I don't fully understand it, but I can say it, right? And I believe in it, okay? The greatest among you must be your slave. The greatest among you must be your slave. And the reason why I say that is because the greatest among you must be your slave, because you are there for humanity and not for your own self, right? You are there to bring people up with you, not just yourself or the close individuals around you. You are meant to bring the lowest people up with you. And that's not being practiced, and that's not being seen in today's world. I'm sure some people are doing it and stuff, and I'm just going to say it. I'm trying to do it with this YouTube channel. I'm trying to do this with this video. Yeah, because of the light, and like, really, you know what I mean? I'm not saying like I'm the greatest, but you know what I mean? But I'm saying the greatest among you must be your slave, right? Yeah. And another thing with the party crowd is we see a lot of college kids, even high school kids. They go into these party crowds, drinking, smoking weed. I don't want to say den, but that's a place of lawlessness, right? That's where they are breaking the rules, right? That's where the darkness thrives. That's where human nature thrives, okay? And I'm not saying I've been to college parties. Actually, here's an example here. Are you ready for this? So an example here is when I went to a college party and I'm trying to spread, I'm going to say, the light, okay? When I'm trying to spread the light, okay, and when I'm talking to people, I remember this one girl, okay, and she's in black clothes, all right, crop top and all, and she's in a wheelchair. I remember seeing her, and I remember thinking that I don't feel bad for her because she's in a wheelchair. Because being in a wheelchair is a gift. Not from a divine force, but I'm going to say it's a gift. It can be a very, very beautiful gift if people use it wisely, know what they're doing with it. What I really felt bad for is that I did not see her using her gift. But she was using it. She was going there to those parties for the wrong reasons, for the dark reasons. And I felt, honestly, I felt bad. I remember going up to her and just started a conversation, just talking, okay? I was giving her the idea of the light and stuff, and she just, I hope it was received in time, okay? Because usually when you bring it up to people, they don't receive it in time. And also the idea of that, I believe in being a good person, and they're relying on their works. But once again, works can deceive you, all right? And works aren't the only thing, all right? But it's when I was talking to her, and she's like, she just didn't understand like kind of foreign language mindset type stuff. She's not chasing after the light, but she's chasing after the darkness. And yeah, and I remember another girl coming up, and I started a conversation with her, and I was talking about the idea of the light, and man, if we're talking about another priceless reaction, man, she started to laugh big time. I think she kind of pointed and stuff, like, ha 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 ha, something like that, and, which I don't really, it doesn't affect me, I don't really care. But when I saw that and stuff, I'm like, I wouldn't be laughing. I would be feeling bad. Like, not me, but it's like, I feel bad. Like, I feel in many ways bad because you are blinded in a way, and you love the darkness, you glorify the darkness, and I feel bad because you do not know what you do. And that's another thing. People do not know what they do, but that does not excuse them from the actions and the choices they make. So now back to the idea of the influence, and back to Jack and Lord of the Flies, okay? So now let's look at a scene of what Jack is doing with his power. Actually, no. We're gonna get to that scene first. We're gonna get to that scene later, but I want to show you this, okay? So we saw that fire clip where they're all dancing, chasing after their kid because of the pig, and they're going crazy. In fact, at that time, okay, actually before the fire, we see a kid go into that pig's head, and he saw the pig, and he's like having an epileptic seizure, and the pig head started to talk to him, and I don't remember entirely what he said, but he said, and by the way, he found out what the monster was. It was the dead parachuted guy and stuff, and the pig head was talking to the guy who's having an epileptic seizure, and he's like, no, there is no monster. They are driven by fear. The monster, the beast that they are looking for, they cannot kill, but it is within them. And the guy passed out, okay? And what happened, get this, what happened was this guy had a glow stick, okay? And we're going to see it in this clip right now. So now, with that being said, we saw that glow stick, and Jack's like, it's the monster! It's the real monster! And he's like, let's go, let's get him. And we find that it was the guy who was telling them that there was no monster. What an ironic scene. What an ironic scene right there. The guy who's about to free them and say, there's no monster. You guys are trapped by fear. You're trapped by your human nature. You're trapped by the darkness. They killed him. They literally killed him. And he was opposing the darkness. The darkness and human nature wants to destroy. They want to bring it down. So yeah, they're like, so yeah, that's one of the things I saw, man, with that scene, okay? So they're all like going for it, right? And now we'll move on, okay? And we'll see if these people have learned from their mistakes. We just killed one of our own. What do we do now? Do we turn away from our lawless acts? Do we turn away from our human nature? Do we turn away from the darkness and go to the light? Or do they go into it? We'll see. Let's see what the next clip has.
It isn't fair. I never touched it. Yeah, he did.
Butt out, or you'll get it too.
From now on, any more criminals are going to be put on that island to starve. Give it to him. Whip it. Now you carry on.
So, as you saw, under Jack's rule, I guess one of the kids opposed him, so they whipped him big time. And he's like, no, we gotta be ready for the monster. It could come in any form. And his influence and his power among the kids are leading them further and further and further down to destruction and darkness.
My son. It's my son.
What fortuitous circumstance be this? 5 lashes beyond, I believe it is. No, I won't. The cat's out of the bag, Mr. Turner. Your issue will feel its sting, be it with a bosun's hand or your own. Bosun, no!
And now, let's look at the scene, okay, of our main character and Jack.
Halt! Who goes there?
Don't be stupid, you know who we are. We've fought the punch and I'm calling an assembly. Where's Jack?
What do you want now?
You heard me. We fought the punch and I'm calling an assembly.
Why don't you two just fuck off?
This is my end and my tribe.
Keep your own end.
You're the one that won't keep your own end. Tearing up our camp and stealing Piggy's glasses. You've got to give them back.
Got to? Who says?
I do! Piggy can't see. If you wanted to have a fire, all you had to do was ask. I'm Hefty! Come on, Jack! Yeah! I've got the conch! Let me speak! Get out of here, piggy! Stop that, Roger! Let Piggy speak! Please! This is serious! Get out, badass! Get away! Come back to your Get out! What I want to say is, if we don't get rescued, we might have to live here for a long time! Maybe the rest of our lives! We are stuck here until we get old! Then we can't go on acting like kids! We've got to be sensible and make things work!
So we see that our main character is opposing Jack, and he's like, we gotta be civil again. We gotta do this, man. We gotta do this. All right. Right. He's bringing the light to them. And we see Jack fighting him. All right. And Piggy, stands up, and look what happens. They decided to kill one of their own. So Jack sees this. The main character sees this. Jack gets all the kids throwing rocks, and we see our main character run, man. He runs away, and he's the only one of the light. And now within the book, okay, and here's for some movie scenes. They were very useful. Now the book, we see in the book that Jack decided to hunt our main character. All the hunters want to find him and kill him. That's what Jack and the hunters want to do. That's what the lawless society wants to do. They want to destroy the person with the rules. They want to destroy the one with the light. They want to destroy it so they can live in darkness. And now in the book we see that our main character knows what happens, and he's running, man. He's fleeing. All the hunters are after him. And at the end of the story, our main character runs, and he gets to the beach. Hunters are all there, and we see a military man just checking out what's going on with the fire, and he sees all these kids, and get this, the island burnt. The entire island burned. So what I'm saying here, okay, and this is going to be one of the symbolisms of the movie in connection with beginning scene, end scene. Destruction is happening. So these kids, they're escaping it. They fall down on an island, and what happened? Their lawless acts led them to destruction. And that fiery island, right? They trusted in they trusted in their idea of their works, and it led them there. And we see this. We see this with the nuclear war, right? Humans have destroyed, burning. All right, and these are men, and we see the same thing happen with these kids. And it's an analogy with human nature. And when the beast says something about the beast inside cannot be killed, I really disagree with that. I believe the beast one day will be destroyed. That shall be one of the most victorious days of the universe. But I'm not going to get into that. All right. That's for me, and not really at the time, not for you guys. But the beast within, I believe we can fight and defeat. We can bring the light, right, within it, within that aspect, so on and so forth. Which is, yeah. Yeah. And we can defeat the darkness within. We can defeat it, and we can spread more light. So one of the things I didn't mention is, sometimes I go to dance clubs, and man, a very lawless society. People misusing drinking, people misusing sexual stuff, all right? And people very judgmental in that environment. A place supports lawlessness. And I go there, and I'm not putting myself up, but I go there so I can celebrate my life, but also be a light, right? I said in the video, okay, what drives a lot of people is fear. And when you try to avoid the darkness, that will be the path that leads to the darkness. But I'm telling you, do not be afraid of the darkness. Do not be afraid of it. But stand within the darkness and be a light for others, right? Be a light. If a town is full of light within the darkness, how can anyone not see it? Yep. If you lead by example, I believe people will see. People will see, and it will get things going in their mind. But keep in mind, we as humans, we cannot change the human heart. Like I said, we can lead a horse to water, but we can't make it drink. We can lead people to the idea of the light and this idea of darkness, but we cannot make the choice for them. And we cannot change the human heart. And so on and so forth. Something to be aware of. I think that's all I got. Actually, all I got. And honestly, hour and 22 minutes. An amazing video. Amazing. I'm so happy. This is for the 150th, over the 150th video. Another thing, I'm gonna also another thing I guess I'm gonna mention, okay? Another observation, okay, of human nature. And Lord of the Flies was like, okay, that was from a book, which is real good. I want to mention something about the cool kids and the people who wanted me down. Alright. During last year, okay? And I'm not talking about cool kids, but I say the cool kids and these other people, okay? I've noticed with the cool kids and the popular kids from high school, they're not in good places in their life. they're really in very dark places in their life. So anyone who is in high school watching this and really idolizing that's another thing within our society. We idolize things so much, they become our everything. That is so, no. No. I don't think I'm going to get started on that, but that's, anyone who's watching it from high school or even now, who like, oh, I wish I was, man, even college, man, those cool kids where they're at and the popular kids, I'm not saying they will be this way their entire lives, but a lot of them just stay in that, and they're already at a dead end in their life, and they contribute to the darkness. And the people who wanted me down, another thing I've observed, okay, especially a girl I knew, alright, she's in jail now, and she's in jail for something she did with her life. I'm not going to describe, but let's say the people I was around, they were lawless people. They were rule breakers. They didn't care about others, but they cared about themselves and putting themselves up above other people. They're nowhere in life, and they're actually destroyed. And when I say destroyed, I mean like they're drug stuff, alcohol, right? They're not growing. They're really lost in their life and in their way. Another thing I'm going to put out there, all right, and this is going to be a great analogy, okay, and they're going to bring out the idea of darkness and why I know a lot of people are so confused when you bring out this foreign idea, okay, and I think a lot of people are going to watch this and be kind of like confused and kind of like, I actually expect that reaction, and if people come against me and kind of push back, go for it. I don't care. Duck to water. Let's go. Rawr. All right. So when people live in the darkness, when people are around the darkness, so on and so forth. All right. If you're in this dark car, you get used to it, right? Kind of live in it. You're doing those things. And this is your world. All you know is your human nature. All you know is the darkness, right? And let's say if someone comes along and shares a part of the light, all right? Where's that coming from? It's bright. I don't understand it. This is scary. I don't believe in the light. I feel very uncomfortable. Some things I gotta acknowledge. Some things I gotta self-reflect. Look in the mirror. This is holding me to accountable. That's better. That's way better. They stay within the darkness because of their unbelief, and they're wanting to grow and know the idea of the light. And now let's say if somebody who was a part of the darkness saw the light and wanted to grow. It may be an idea I don't understand. It may be something some things I gotta leave behind. I want to follow that because I know that is right. And I'm going to deny my human nature. I'm going to follow that wholeheartedly. And another thing I want you to keep in mind with this light and darkness idea. It's the road. I've said this a few times on my YouTube channel. The road is wide and broad, and many people will follow it, and that leads to destruction. Right? That leads to destruction. But very few find the path to life. And I also want to bring something up, and this actually relates to kind of something here, okay? So, for example, we see that road, right? We see the main road. A lot of people drive on it, right? I give you this example plenty of times. We see that road, a lot of people are driving on it, right? But not a lot of people will go on this narrow dirt road. This narrow dirt road. Alright. And come up to this beautiful preserve. I'm gonna say heaven on earth, man. Alright. So with that being said, I believe I made all my points. Yeah, I believe I really made all my points, and it was so awesome talking with you guys, and it was real cool too about how like we started in the daytime and now it's like nighttime. And I honestly I came here to actually go for a run and make this YouTube video. So yeah, I think we're gonna end this celebration acknowledgements off with a run in the nighttime. Yeah, among the preserve. And man, another thing, I don't know about you guys, but when I'm out there, okay, when I'm out there by myself within the dark woods and stuff, it is sometimes nerve-wracking, man. But another thing I'm gonna say, I'm gonna practice when I'm out there. Do not be afraid of the darkness. Because if you're afraid of the darkness, like those kids were afraid of the monster, it will. Alright. So yeah, let's get it. Let's do it. Champion style. We will bring the light. Woo! Yeah. Alright. Well, if I don't talk by the end, well, or if I don't talk throughout the run, well, thanks for watching. And remember, be a part of the light and spread the light. Alright. I'm just gonna say it because I actually mean this. Okay, another thing with the ideal cool popular kids, Jack, so on and so forth. Alright, darkness of humanity. They all love themselves so much, but they don't love the humanity around themselves. So spread that love, right? And I love you. I don't know you, but I love you because you are human. You are my fellow man. You may have done some dark things in your life, but if you follow the light and believe in the light and act out in the light, the dark acts do not define you. What keeps the darkness in power is you not saying anything or acknowledging it, but denying the light. That's what makes the darkness have power and the fear. Alright. Well, peace be with you for wherever you go. See ya.